Right everyone, welcome back to another long play video at Whizbit's Random Gaming. And today's game of choice, we're going to just jump straight into it, is the much improved sequel to Robocop, aptly named Robocop 2. Now, one of the first things you'll notice if you've played the original Robocop is the vast improvements all round on this. The sprites are like 2-3 times the size over the original. They look a lot better. The gameplay is much better as well. It's more arcade-like, and you've actually got a jump in this one. Whereas, if I recall rightly, Robocop 1, there was no jump button. And it mixes it up. The variety in this one's a little bit different. You get these shooting scenes, and you get a couple of driving scenes as well, if I recall rightly. Now, whilst the first game, it's still a classic, I found this one indefinitely a lot more fun. You know, straight away as a kid you'd see it in the arcade and it attracted you with the big chunky sprites, very colourful, character that you recognised in the 80s and the 90s in Robocop. Yeah, it's just one of those games that you at least had to put 10, 20, 30, 40 pence or whatever it may have been in the arcade. You had to try it. And so with this game, the control system, slightly different. You've got one button to shoot left, one button to shoot right, and obviously the jump button as well. On the layout I'm playing it at the moment, it's slightly awkward, but it's okay, it's manageable. And then you've got scenes like this, the old joystick wagglers and button mashers, and that was always good fun in the arcade. You know, that was part of the arcade experience back in the late 80s, early 90s. Now that massive gun there that you get hold of, clearly taken from the first Robocop film, where the 5 members of the gang literally pick up those guns in order to kill Robocop. It's absolutely, Robocop has got to be one of the best films of the 80s, and you know, it's one of those cult movies. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you check it out, and if you're not squeamish, check out the uncut version as well. It caused chaos. I remember it was yeah, I think it was edited quite heavily, especially for the TV market and stuff like that, because it's quite graphic for a film of its time. The scene where Murphy, the main character, if you have seen it, you'll all recall this one, where he gets brutalized on his journey to becoming Robocop. Yeah, it's savage, absolutely savage, and it still holds up today if you watch it. Unfortunately, Robocop 2, you know, Robocop, it made a lot more money than I think anyone anticipated, so it was a resounding success. And obviously they wanted more money for the sequel because obviously the budget was laid out, it was higher. I would imagine the actors that was paid more. I'm sure Peter Weller, in order to return to the role, would have been able to command more money. And, you know, and for that reason, in order to get their money back in, the higher ups, the Hollywood guys, You know, they'll tell you straight out, we need people to be able to see this film. The more people that can see it, we're going to make our money, and therefore the rating has to be for a lower age. You're restricting your audience otherwise. So they went with a 12, if I remember rightly, in the UK anyway, for Robocop 2. Now that tells you everything you need to know straight away about the direction the series was going to head in. Robocop 2 itself as a movie, it's actually not as bad as everyone says. It's okay. It's been a while since I've watched it. I've probably seen it 4 or 5 times. I don't think I'd watch it again unless it was, you know, on the telly and, you know, you couldn't be asked to get up and move or even pick up the controller. You've got to be really lazy though, haven't you, to not switch the control. But yeah, it's not as bad as it's not as bad as the third one. Let's just put it that way. The third movie in the series, number 1, doesn't have Peter Weller, and the mouth alone sort of gave it away. It's very distinctive facial and jaw features of Peter Weller, and the voice as well. It kind of was, you know, it made the character. And then when they couldn't get Peter Weller back for the third one, you know, I think the film itself was already on a... It was already fighting against the odds there. And to be honest, the franchise didn't go anywhere solid after that. It was pretty much downhill. You had loads of TV type movies, Robocop. I remember seeing them on DVD in like it might have been CEX or some sort of video shops, Blockbuster or Ritz back in the day, and I was like, wow, new Robocop movies that I didn't know about. And yeah, I remember renting one in particular and taking it home, and I was just like, what on earth is this crap? Clearly made for TV. Yeah, they were terrible. I think they were marketed over here in the UK as some sort of movies, whereas in America they was probably just TV specials. I'm not 100% on that, but that's how they felt when you watch them back. You know, there was a Robocop TV series as well. Admittedly, I'd never really watched it, but I don't think it lasted for long, so it can't have been that great. And then, in all honesty, the franchise has laid dormant until they done the reboot about 10, 12 years ago. And as a reboot, they really played that straight. You know, it was a straight type film. There was no cult aspect to it. And for that reason alone, it's an okay movie, but it was trying to be a remake of Robocop. You know, and you played it straight. As a standalone movie, it was probably a 5 or 6 out of 10. You know, some might even say 7 if you just take away the original aspect of what it's covering. But yeah, I think Total Recall did the same with the Colin Farrell remake, which I remember was a lot closer to the book. But it was just, you know, a very straightforward movie, and it didn't have any of them sort of scenes or the personality that the original film had. And that's the same case with the Robocop remake. It was just a bog standard remake, very straight, to the point, and you can understand why it really went under the radar. And, you know, I bet there's a few people that might listen to this commentary now and just absolutely forget that it was even made until I mentioned it. It's that kind of film, unfortunately. Right, so as I say, on this game, you do get a little bit of variety here. You get these scenes, and if I'm totally honest with you, I am not 100% on what to shoot and how to shoot and to get 100%. I'm just literally blasting away at anything I can here. I don't think you can actually die on these levels, so I guess it's more of a bonus level. There's nothing really shoots at you. You've got to laugh at that. I would have loved to have seen Robocop do something like that in the movie. Right, so anyone that remembers Robocop 2, you had the main villain who was Kane. And yeah, he was a drug dealer of sorts, you know, with some fictional drug that they created for the movie. And I can't remember how, but he ends up being killed and turned into a robot as well, so that Robocop has got some sort of nemesis to face towards the end. You know, he had Ed 209 in the first film, and in this one he's got the robot version of the villain, Kane. Who in my opinion was not a patch on Ed 209. You give Ed 209 the ability to walk up and down stairs, and Robocop might have had a bit of trouble, you know. I will say I haven't died a great deal on this game. This is one of the easier arcade games of the time, which you'd imagine the arcade tender probably wasn't too pleased about. He wants you to keep pumping that money in. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is still going to eat away at the coins in your pocket back in the day, but it wasn't a case of like, it was cheap so you die every 10-20 seconds. There's some games out there like that where you put your money in and in literally within a minute you could be searching for the next coin. As I said, I'm absolutely terrible at these little mini game scenes here with a crosshair. Eventually I'd get it. And anyone that's seen the first film, you'll see these characters here. It's heavily inspired by probably the most gruesome death of one of the villains in the whole film. All I'll say is it includes a guy with a ginger goatee beard and some form of acid or chemical material. All I know is it's one of them scenes. I watched it as a young boy, and like most of us did. The 80s was a different time. You could, I think our parents used to let us watch stuff that we obviously wasn't allowed to. My dad had me watching Halloween movies at age of 7 or 8, I think. Crazy guy. And yeah, I remember seeing the death of that character, and just, it blew my mind. I've got to admit, I do love the aspect that there's a little bit of physical involvement as well. It's not just shooting. You can pick some people up, slam them, that sort of thing. I think Data has really done a good job with this one, and it probably would have been a massive struggle to get a game running like this, at this quality, on any kind of console that was available at the time. I don't think that was the reason why it never came out though. I'm going to have a guess and say it's definitely something to do with licensing and film gaming rights. I mean, it's quite common knowledge the first Robocop game was picked up by, I can't remember who it was, it might have been Ocean, at sort of like the pre-production stage of the movie or something along them lines, and they got it for absolute peanuts. So they've now got a film license which they're not going to lose out for. But then the film went on to be a massive success, hugely popular, and yeah, they were sitting on the rights for the games. And the first game's pretty good. I think I tried playing and completing the NES one many years ago, and I swear it's impossible to complete that game. I got to the final boss and I just couldn't do it. And I mean, I tried for hours. And here we go, here's the main guy, Ed 209. I absolutely love the Ed 209. It is an absolute savage beast. Not so much in this game, unfortunately, but yeah. Anyone that's seen the movie, you know. Now you can see what I'm saying, this is not the most hard or most difficult of arcade games. You know, I should really have been getting my arse handed to me by Ed 209 at least a few times there. And you have to give Data East a bit of credit here. Obviously they've only been through 2 movies at the time, so they had to be quite creative with the end of level bosses and kind of make up their own stuff. I'm going to guess a lot of these bosses are reskins from other Data East arcade games to some extent. But I think these were some prime years for Data East around about this time, you know. They was definitely one of the premier arcade game companies of the early 90s. Some of the games they released were fantastic. Oh, what I will say, if you've got an Evercade out there, a must-have cartridge is the Data East Arcade Collection. I don't know if I actually shot that guy or whether or not he was just going to collapse anyway, but I'm going to take it as a victory. I mean, look at this. Was this in the movie? I don't recall. This is even more daft, this boss, than Robocop having a jetpack in part 3. Well, actually no, I'm going to take that back. Nothing is as daft as Robocop and the jetpack in part 3. I remember Robocop 3 on the Super Nintendo. It's specifically in my local Wolves, where they couldn't even give the game away. That's how much that film killed the franchise. Well, in the area I lived in anyway, everyone was laughing at it. I'm a huge fan of films that are so bad that they're good. Huge fan. With films that go on to achieve cult status, that sort of thing. Robocop 3 isn't one of them. It's just that bad, it's always going to stay bad. I mean, this just looks like an evil version of that Nink, is it? No, I don't know the name. My kids watch Teletubbies, you know. That stuff is still going. And there's that Hoover. He just looks like a twisted version of him. Right, so obviously I can get hit in this level. People are throwing stuff at me, car tyres. I mean, why wouldn't you? You're going to have loads, wouldn't you? Every van has tons of spare car tyres. I mean, it's not easy. I'm trying to shoot everything in front of me. At the same time, I think it expects me to get that helicopter as well in order to achieve the 100%. I'm not even going to go for that. The helicopter's just, it moves too much. Wow. Right, so there's Kane. It's quite a fair representation of the version of Kane in Robocop 2. It's been a while since I played this, but I think you have to fight like 3 or 4 variations of Kane before you get the final ending. And that's the first one done anyway. What's that? Berserker mode there from Kane. It's a bit like watching a Deontay Wilder fight. It's exactly how he punches. Gotta love the windmills. So one thing I'll say about the villains in this game, there's some good guns. I don't get enough variation on this. I've only seen like one different gun you can pick up, and that was that big laser gun. And even when you get that, you get what, maybe 3 to 4 shots and it's gone. As much as I enjoy this game, I would have liked a few extra weapons. It would have been a lot more fun. Love that. Look how quick he gets up. Alright, I'm pretty certain now. This is the 4th time you've got to fight him. This must be the final incarnation of Cain. Rings a bell anyway, just watching it. Like I say, it's been a while since I've played this. But it's always one of them games, like when I used to have access to MAME years and years ago, and you had 15-20 minutes to kill or something like that. This was always in that top 10 list of games that I'd fire up just to kill a bit of time. Who doesn't love the old gun spin from Robocop there? Absolute classic. Right, there you have it. This is not the end, or it clearly is. Yeah, strange ending there. I've never seen a different one. Is there a good ending you can get on this? Because he don't look in good shape there. Old Murphy. But yeah, if you have not played this game, I highly recommend it. It's also a 2-player game. So if you've got a friend sitting around, this is a highly enjoyable game just to browse through. 20-30 minutes, probably even quicker if there's 2 of you playing it. Yeah, massive credit to Data East once again. Like I say, at this time and a few years previously, definitely one of their premier arcade game companies. Some great quality that came out from them. Like I say, it's a pity this one didn't get any direct console ports. But maybe it's for the best. We have got MAME after all now, so it is what it is. At least we still have access to it. It's archived in there in gaming history one way or the other. But anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Got a few more long plays lined up, so keep an eye on the channel for those. I'll probably be uploading another one early next week. And also many thanks for all the subscribers that have recently joined the channel. Everyone that's been sharing it, much appreciated. If you haven't already, please give us a click, subscribe to the channel. It really does help. Until then guys, you guys take care, and I will see you on the next video.